security station is not responding.
What you just saw there was some gameplay for the game Trepang2, which is, in my opinion, one of the most fun modern shooters in the genre, complete with tons of abilities, such as you just saw there, the ability to slow down time, as you can see, and you can even dodge bullets, and with separate abilities, you can even become invisible, which is honestly a really cool feature, which just makes the game. Like, it's a fun game even without the abilities, but the abilities are just so fun that it's hard to pass up getting the game, especially since it's still in a demo state, so it's free. Now, the game doesn't have much of a story yet, since it's still in a demo state, but hopefully later in development that will be fleshed out more, because it seems like a really interesting story. You can have some really crazy fights, especially near the end of the game where there are huge arenas with tons of enemies. You can melee enemies with right click, which replaces the aim down sights feature for most weapons. So, being a relatively new demo, the game is, of course, filled with lots of bugs and glitches, as you just saw there, but a lot of them will most likely be patched, and as far as I can see, most of them are pretty harmless anyways. So, as you can see, this is an example of the focus ability in action being used to mow down some enemies. Also, I had to cut the footage because I missed so many shots. But as you can see, I am dual wielding those pistols, which is only available after you beat the game, along with a few other things such as an endless mode, which can be really fun, especially if you want to try out new tactics or techniques for killing enemies. Plus, the game has a fairly diverse enemy count, with enemies such as shield enemies, black ops enemies, SMG enemies, pistol enemies, juggernauts, and more. Plus some special enemies in different modes. And as you can see here, these are some shield enemies, which do exactly what they sound like, although they can be knocked over with a slide, making them very easy to combat. They're just a little bit annoying. So, as you can see, this is the second stage of the campaign, the office. It's fairly short, being the shortest in the game, but it's definitely a pretty cool environment that I would like to see more of.
I think I saw something.
Also, another interesting gameplay mechanic with the grenades is that they explode when hitting an enemy, which means that, yes, it can feel horrible when you miss them, but it can also make for an interesting gameplay mechanic where you also have to aim your grenades too. And this is a workbench. It's where you customize your weapons with attachments such as, but not limited to, well actually it is limited to due to it being extremely early access, but there is a good chance we'll get more in the future, lasers and suppressors, because why not? So as you can see, this is an example of some different enemy types. This enemy has more health. It only takes 2 headshots to kill, which is the norm for most tougher enemies, but it takes way more body shots, which makes you prioritize getting headshots over anything else. So, here we are. This is your last chance to look away now before spoilers for the end of Trepang2, which is a pretty interesting ending. So, if you don't want to get spoilers, look away. Judging by the fact that you haven't looked away, I'm guessing you're either deaf or you don't care about spoilers, which, if that's the case, then just sit back and enjoy the gameplay. So how this works is you have 5 rounds of enemies, with the final one being a boss round with a juggernaut, which will later become a cannon fodder enemy in the true Doom style. And each round gets progressively harder and harder, which is honestly, it's a really great ending fight, which rivals a lot of the games I've played, not gonna lie. Except for Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 was peak, not gonna lie.
Negative, sir. All squads are down. We're the only ones left. The rest of you and me. We'll take them out ourselves. I'm leading the assault.
So, this is the final boss fight, which is a juggernaut enemy, which is the security chief, I think. Yeah, I think it's the security chief. But it gives you some Black Ops enemies, some shield enemies, some tough to kill enemies, and yeah, it's a pretty cool boss fight, which is not actually that hard as long as you aim for the head. As long as you aim for the head, just like with the bulldozers in Payday 2, if you shoot the glass, you'll be able to get a headshot off and easily kill them, as you can see there.
Alpha 3, watch for friendly fire. 106 is approaching the helipad.